me and my dad, we were chopping it up, and we just thought it was funny because I think he had like a 20-point triple double, and he was like, yeah, he had like an all right game, and it's like that's an
Right.
all right game for Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he doesn't, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists is like for him. So I just
Another
think,
thing for me is kind of the health of Chet. I wanted to see what you thought about
uh,
that because
yeah,
I mean, obviously his first season he played all 82 games, and then the beginning of this season he missed, was it like
yeah.
19 games, and then he's kind of had nagging injuries throughout this whole season. So I kind of wanted to see what you thought about him. Do you think, is he injury prone?
No. In my opinion, no. I think last year he played all year. I would consider him injury prone, especially at the beginning of his career, but like I'd say he's kind of been more of an Iron Man as of recent, but now it's just catching up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been, he had 70 the other last season, just like he was just doing his usage rate was at like 34%.
Yeah.
Just yeah, stuff that can't be sustainable. I used to not like Steph Curry, bro, but at this point I'm like what after kind of the Olympics too, I'm just like, dude, yeah, he's just solid. Like
Yeah.
he might go down as like a top 3 point guard ever. And if he might even finish like one, bro. Especially if he wins another championship. That's what they were saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
because Curry's like
What's going
crazy.
on,
Like,
ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your co-host CJ here with my lovely co-host ZD. How are you doing today, sir?
man, I'm in the building. I'm above ground. Sheesh, man. It's a bright day for sure because the Lakers, the Thunder, bro, like they've been. I say they're the top five teams right now in the NBA.
Like I said, it's always dope being able to chop it up with you about hoops. And this is actually our 35th episode. So I had to rock the KD jersey, the Seattle Supersonics, a little throwback. But
Yes,
yeah, no,
sir.
just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's been listening and watching Three Man Weave. We really do appreciate it. And if y'all do ever have any questions, drop them in the comments, or send us messages individually or to the Three Man Weave account, and we'll try to get those going. But yeah, like you were saying, that we have a huge docket to talk about with this for this episode. If you want to just kind of get into your thoughts about the Lakers, y'all have been going crazy, man.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it kind of when the trade happened, but at this point, like I just think LeBron James being off the ball, like like at this point in his career, it's just like the mileage that he has on his body. It wasn't gonna be able to. It's not sustainable with him and Anthony Davis, and I think Luca kind of rejuvenates the entire team. I think, we at the beginning, we had those losses to Charlotte and Utah. It was kind of sketch, but I think Luca just again, like I was talking to my dad on the phone about it, and like we were just both like, man, it's not even his scoring, bro. It's his rebounding and his passing really that like just allows the Lakers to be so much better. He gets so many open shots for other players and Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, even like Jordan Goodwin, Jordan Vanderbilt, like they've been able to play really well. Gabe Vincent. I just think, like we're a dangerous team. Obviously we were dangerous before, but I think we're more dangerous now because I think we just have somebody that is again a top five player in the NBA when healthy and can really just me and my dad we were chopping it up and we just thought it was funny because I think he had like a 20-point triple double and he was like, yeah, he had like an all right game, and it's like that's an
Right.
all right game for Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he doesn't, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists is like for him. So I just think having that on your team, it's given us so much life, and we talked about it before we got on we hit the button, but JJ, what he's been able to do too, I wanted to give props to him. I think he could win Coach of the Year, bro. Honestly, if the Lakers keep playing this way and we end like third or second in the West, like for a rookie coach to do that, that hasn't happened in a long time. And I know there's Kenny Atkinson and there's other people that have been out there, but you got to also look at the circumstances. Like they've also been coaching for a lot longer of a time, and like the Lakers are good. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I think their net rating's positive now, so thank goodness. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like we were one of the only teams in like a playoff spot that had a negative net rating. I think it's starting to shift back in normal. And then just our defense. I'll break it down kind of in the games here in a second, but we talked about it before we got on. Like, if we're playing defense at this level, I don't really think, a lot of teams are going to be able to beat us. I think when everybody's locked in, when Luca's, trying, because he is a traffic cone, but when he's giving his effort where he can, because he is 6'8", he can get his fingertips on certain basketballs and make sure, we can get steals. And then when LeBron's also locked in as well, bro, like it's up. When we're communicating the way that we were able to guard Jokic, the other night, it was like it was literally a symphony, bro. It was like if you guys watched the game straight through, it was very harmonious in the way that we were able to just be kind of one defensive unit. And that's been the thing that I've been stressing about pretty much all year is like the defense and the threes. I mean, you got 35 on your chest right now. Like KD don't struggle with shooting threes, but the Lakers are horrible from shooting three. And recently we've been a lot better, shooting a lot more of them. Last night versus the Clippers, we went like 11 to 33 from deep, which isn't great. But again, for us to get up 33s in a game, I think that says a lot to plan that was going on. We were also we were missing a couple key guys. Austin Reeves ended up going out at halftime, and then Roy Hachimura was not in the game, but we still came out with a W, bro. I think Kawhi Leonard and James Harden are just they're a little bit older now, and it, I don't want to like. It's no slight to them as basketball players, but I think having PG in the mix helped them a lot. Just get open, and now Kawhi and James Leonard kind of have to kind of grind to score their buckets, and that's how we were able to win. Is just solid defense. I think the score was 106, 102. So it wasn't a super comfortable win. I think the Clippers are a quality team, and I've talked about it this entire year. Like, can we beat these quality teams? And obviously, the Lakers are starting to prove that. And last night was another example of that. Luca had a decent game. It wasn't the best game, but he was able to get to 30. And I think, there's a stat out there. I think he's averaging like the fourth most points against the Clippers like ever. I
Mm,
think it's like 31 points a game or something like that. So,
yeah.
and then the LeBron off ball thing. I mean, when LeBron is able to give you 27, 28 points, but he's not the initial creator, that says a lot about kind of where our offense is headed. And again, like he's been able, I wanted to shout him out too, bro. Like he's been able to really, dial in from deep. I think over the last 2 or 3 years, he's kind of shifted himself into a much better knockdown shooter when open. I think it's like 38, 39%. So I kind of used to cringe when he would shoot those threes, but now I think in rhythm, LeBron James is a dangerous 3-point shooter. And you add that in the mix with, DFS, and then like Jared Vanderbilt playing defense on James Harden, I think really bothered him. James Harden in the third quarter started to cook. He had, there was a couple plays where he would get Jackson Hayes on the one-on-one off the pick and roll, and that's barbecue chicken. I think that's something that we have to clean up going into the playoffs whenever we switch, having to guard those really elite kind of ball handlers and trying to figure out, that type of defense. But again, only giving up 102 points, like I don't really have that many issues on the defensive side, other than the pick and roll defense. I think we need to ice the screens a little bit more, but yeah, no, the Clippers game was just like it just makes me happy because again, I've been like watching the entire year and I'm just like, man, we can't beat these great teams. And now just Luca, just being there, I think just with the amount of attention he is able to draw, and just the amount of space our team can get off of that just lets us do a lot. I think when Jackson Hayes can just be in the dunker spot, catch lobs. He had a couple dunks last night, like you were talking about before we got on. Like, it's nothing crazy. We don't have an amazing big, but I think when the offense is rotating around Luca, it looks really good. And yeah, no, the Clippers game was just another example of that. But before then, I think we played the Timberwolves. This game was kind of gross. It was also muddy as well. Another great defensive game. I think we won 111, 102 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, Ant got tossed in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, he also has. I was gonna ask you, bro, how do you feel about his 16th technical foul and his suspension? I think he's been having issues with the refs all year, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's some are granted, like I understand you probably deserve a tech, but I don't know. I feel like some are like undeserving, like not
Oh
knowing off the
yeah,
top of my head exactly every single one that he's gotten, but like there's sometimes where he's just talking, and I think it's just kind of he wears his heart on his sleeves. He has his emotions, and I
100%.
think that's probably certain refs, depending on who it is, probably don't like that as much, but.
Hmm.
I liked when he plays. I love Ant, bro. I mean, we've been talking about him. He's kind of like ascending into stardom in the league, and I
He
like
was cooking.
and in fact, I like that he's he hits a big shot. He's flexing and stuff. I love
Yeah,
that.
he's
It
talking.
reminds me a little bit of like kind of how Russ was with the Thunder. Just like
Yeah,
very
yeah,
emotional. And I just
I
think
can see that.
certain type of refs, if you look at them the wrong way, they'll give you a text. So I don't know. I think it's some, like I said, are probably deserving, but others, I think it's just the refs kind of doing a little too much. Like like
Yeah, I think that's what happened in that situation. To your point, the reason I bring that up though is him and Big Jelly Nas, like, bro, like they were getting. I think they were really a problem for our defense. It's interesting. It's when the Timberwolves have been like okay, but I think whenever they play the Lakers, they tend to like kind of play up a little bit, and like you're saying, whenever Ant is kind of like going at us, it's tough. But again, bro, we were solid on defense. We stood pat. I think Luka didn't have the greatest game, but I think that trio of again, like I think he had like 23 points, but he had another triple double. So
mm,
I mean, craziness. But
right.
him, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James, bro, like that trio is truly dangerous on offense.
Hmm.
And the Timberwolves have a pretty good defense. I think they're like the top 10 defense in the NBA. So it kind of goes to show you, again, where our game plan is, what JJ's trying to implement, and it's really happening on the court. I think Austin Reeves' development, again, he was healthy for this game. He went out, last game at halftime, but in the T-Wolves game, off the pick and roll, bro, like the way that he was able to navigate screens and just create separation to be able to get his shot off, and he has a really quick release. If you guys haven't watched his game before, his jumper's pretty quick. So again, just Luka being able to spray it around, get other guys involved, and then having LeBron James off the ball has been really lovely for our offense. We've been shooting a lot better from deep. Last night again, Luka didn't shoot the best from 3-point range, but in the T-Wolves game he was doing okay, and I think having somebody in the lineup that shoots 7, 8 threes a game is good for us. I think that's kind of what we were missing. Not to say AD's not a capable franchise player, and I think he'll be lovely for the Mavericks, but he's not going to shoot 8 or 9 threes in a game. And Luka Doncic is. Austin Reeves will, and that's kind of what you need in the NBA to be able to beat teams in certain situations. And I truly don't think the Timberwolves are really that competitive this year. Obviously, they were kind of, they have a lot of injuries. They're not the position they were last year. I think they're asking a lot from Gobert, and it's tough for him as he gets older to really be the anchor of a defense, and especially play in such a wing-driven league. But yeah, bro, I think the Timberwolves game is another example, kind of too, of like what we can be whenever we're locked in on defense. And I don't want to like harp on it too much, but it is something I've been stressing like this entire season. Is just the 3 point and the defense, and we're starting to finally clean that up now. And I think that's because of Luka Doncic and allowing LeBron to play off ball, and Austin Reeves' ascension, right, and Rui Hachimura too, right? Like I think that's another person where it's like his um his versatility, I think, is what's allowing us to be the type of team that we are. And I've said it before on other podcasts, but his ability to rebound and hit big threes and be athletic and play defense when needed, I think it's going to help us in the playoffs. So I think the Lakers are super dangerous right now, bro. And I think they will be going forward. And, we talked about it before like a month ago, but like I think this was kind of in the cards if, Luka could figure it out and be healthy. I mean, you kind of add that into the mix with LeBron and Austin Reeves kind of hooping, and you get what you've been getting. So I'm joyous about it, like I said.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, no, and it's dope being able to see that y'all are actually successful. And on the defensive side, really, that's what I'm mostly impressed with y'all, because we knew that whenever Luca figured it out, and of course it was gonna take obviously some time for him to kind of get acclimated with the offense and the players on his team and stuff. But I mean, I'm we knew. I don't know if you said like the audience. Obviously, there's always naysayers and oh no, I don't know if it's gonna work. Nah, we knew it was gonna work, and I think it is just like you said, cleaning up defensively and being able to actually knock down some threes. That's been y'all's pretty much y'all's poison for this season, and y'all are figuring it out, and I would say y'all are doing it at the right time because the West between two to really the play in, it's up for grabs, so we're
Oh,
with the fact that y'all
it's a
are able.
bloodbath. It's a
Yeah,
bloodbath.
yeah, but yeah, bro, it's crazy. It's dope being able to see those type of two of the probably the best players we probably seen on the same court. It still
Oh
blows.
yeah, bro.
I was really like, damn, this man Luka's really on the Lakers, bro. It still blows my mind when I see it. It's crazy, but
Yeah. No, 100%. I still have to like process it sometimes, but I'm starting to get used to it, bro.
yeah,
You know
yeah, for sure, for sure. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up about Lake Show?
that the Lake Show. Nah, bro. I think I hit on the points. Really, like that's really we're like one of the hottest teams in the NBA. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think like I'm not gonna talk a bunch of shit. I just kind of want to see how we do in the playoffs. But
Yeah.
I think for people who were doubting like the cohesiveness between Luka Doncic and LeBron, I don't think that's like valid. I
Right.
just think LeBron's mastered the game of basketball to the point where like he doesn't need like he can kind of like conform his game to whatever it needs to be
Mm-hmm.
like specified to fit the players that are around him. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you need him to set a screen, he can do that. If you need him to dive to the basket, he could do that. Like if you need him to play off the ball, he could do that. If you need him to play on the ball, he could do that. Like LeBron is just I would say he's the probably the most versatile player we have in the league in terms of like just being able to knowing the game and being able to do like everything kind of at a high level. Like he
Mm-hmm.
could pass, he could rebound, he could score, like he could do it all. So
Yeah.
I think I think the Lake Show is like I said, we're dangerous. And I think over like I think the calendar month of February, bro, I think we were like 12-2.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Y'all have been hooping, bro. That's why, I wanted to bring it up. I mean, obviously we were gonna bring it up anyways, but yeah, y'all have been going. Y'all, like you said, you're one of the hottest teams in the league right now, for sure.
We're solid, bro. We're
Yeah.
solid, and I think like you're saying, the West is up for grabs. It's a bloodbath, and anything can kind of happen in the playoffs. So hopefully we can, win a couple series, and then like go to the finals. Because I'm trying to see Luca get back there again, and
Hmm.
I know he wants to go, and I know LeBron being Braun, bro. I feel like if he gets back there, bro, he is not he is not gonna like give up that opportunity. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I think that's what makes LeBron James so special is like he just knows this is an opportunity, like this is the chance to seize the opportunity and kind of like I don't know if you saw Court of Gold, right? Kind of
Yes.
like Curry, yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like Curry, like just grab that by the throat and just like let's get to it. But
Hmm.
I think we could beat the Celtics in 7 games, bruh.
Yeah.
Or the Cavs or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah. Yeah,
for
bro.
real.
It's been crazy, man. It's been like you said, crazy hoops. Kind of going into the Thunder. We played the Hawks last night. We beat them by 16, but it did start to get a little scary. I mean, I kind of brought it up to you. The thing that I've been realizing with the team lately is, we'll be up by 20 at half or in the game in totality, and we've been giving up. Going on the teams are going on these crazy runs, and we're giving up these huge leads. That's kind of been, we talked about it before we started recording, and it seems like they've been taking their foot off the pedal whenever we have these huge leads. So that's really been my only gripe with us lately. Obviously, we lost against Timberwolves a couple nights ago. I think it was a back to back as well, but it's just kind of that's been really my only gripe because we have still been like I think you were saying it, the best team in the West, and I still think we're in a good spot. It's just kind of situations
Yeah,
like this. It's a little frustrating because it's like, man, like we get these, y'all are just blowing these leads, and it kind of going into playoff time and even this part of the season, it's kind of like, okay, are you just kind of going through the motions and not really, taking your competition seriously? Which, like, I mean, feel like you should at this point. They're NBA team, regardless, they're NBA players. They're highest level, for basketball, and it's I don't know. That's been my main thing, and shout out to Lou Dort. He hit six threes. I think that was like his tied for his career high, which is always great to see. And Shea's doing his thing. We'll get into that conversation with the MVP ladder later on in the episode. And it's been really just making sure we maintain the position we're at. And I feel like that obviously that's pretty hard for a whole 82 game season, but we've been doing that so far, and like I said, I've been impressed. My only gripe with them is the fact that we are blowing these leads, and like I said, that is really my only thing that I'm worried about. But I mean, realistically, it's not too much to stress out about. It's not
Yeah,
like my
yeah,
team is
yeah.
terrible. It's just kind of like remembering that pretty much any game that you play against someone is it's at the highest level. But I mean, that's really my only thing to really say. I
Yeah.
mean, like I
And
said,
tell the Pistons, bro. They've been hooping.
they've
Like
been
like you're
hooping.
saying, like any team can beat the Thunder basically. If
Yeah,
they hit their threes, like,
yeah,
like,
yeah. And I
you
think
know.
the main thing we expect it from Shea, right? Because he's been doing it for the past two seasons. But if he does like have a bad game or a bad game to his standards, I think it's kind of been a question we've been saying throughout since we've been doing the pod this whole season, kind of like who's the next man up. And thankfully, our bench has been always pretty holding us down for the most part. I would say we probably have one of the best
Yeah, like
benches in the league.
solid.
Yeah, like Aaron Wiggins is still having a fantastic season. I would say that contract extension for him and Isaiah Joe is finally able to knock down his shots. So I wasn't really worried about, but towards the first half of the season, he was kind of, I wouldn't say struggling, but not doing it to the level he was doing it this past season. But he's finally knocking down those shots. And I think another thing for me is kind of the health of Chet. I wanted to see what you thought about
Uh,
that, because
yeah,
I mean, obviously his first season he played all 82 games, and then the beginning of this season he missed, was it like
yeah.
19 games, and then he's kind of had nagging injuries throughout this whole season. So I kind of wanted to see what you thought about him. Do you think, is he injury prone?
No. In my opinion, no. I think last year he played all year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah. I would say we have a small sample size, but it's kind of,
well, I just think what McCall Bridges is doing, bro, like that's not, you
yeah.
know,
He's an
like
Iron
it's
Man,
just
bro.
if you play all year, like kind of like with KD, I think he played like if you play 70, 80 games, the next season is always the toughest, if that makes sense. I think it's just more of that. He just played all year
Yeah,
last year, and people don't they kind of
like
forget
forget
that. I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, like I
playoffs as
think
well. Yeah.
I think he has the luxury of like really he has the luxury of sitting the rest of the year
Hmm.
and then just trying to go in the playoffs and seeing what happens. And if he gets hurt there, well oh well, but hopefully knock on wood that doesn't happen. But yeah, that is interesting. I don't think he's injury prone though. I just think it's kind of he gets put in poor situations and things happen. But I think he's proven he can go an entire year.
Right.
So I think we should wait, like a
Till
year or
we give
two
him, yeah,
before.
till we give
Yeah,
him
yeah.
that title, yeah. Because I mean, I feel like obviously we see all the discourse on social media and stuff, and I see a mixed batch. People say that, people say, oh
Mm,
no, he played the whole, so just kind of wanted to see your thoughts of it, because I respect your game, your analysis of
yeah,
basketball, and
yeah,
I,
yeah. Of
you know what I'm
course,
saying. So I wanted to
I
see
appreciate that.
your, of course, bro, and kind of see your thoughts on that, because I don't think he is, but it is kind of like the injuries this season. I think it has a lot to do with him playing all of last season, and he played every game. So like I can't complain
Exactly.
about that. And then obviously, like you said, it's always the toughest part of playing, a whole season if you can do like replicate it the next season. And it's
Yeah,
kind of
like
you know
yeah, it's like another. It's like can you do 164?
right,
Like it's just tough.
yeah.
Plus the playoffs, it's like
Hmm.
it's just hard.
But no, yeah, I mean that's really all I mean, like I
That's
said,
all. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I said, our bench has been performing really well. I think that's been my main thing as well. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Casey Wallace, all of them. They've
Yeah,
been balling out. So, not real much analysis of the Thunder.
the,
Been
yeah.
hooping. Yeah.
They're like so. Their defense is just so restricting. So
Hmm.
it's tough whenever the opposing team can't, like I'm saying, hit their threes, or if they're not feeling it. I think they are prone to mental lapses.
Hmm.
I think Jalen Williams has to do better sometimes, but I think they'll be okay. I think going into the playoffs, they should be very. They should be sitting some guys down the stretch, and they should be very like ready to go.
Hmm.
I think they're to me sometimes they're so good. It's like when somebody's too smart, it's like it's to their downfall. They're
Hmm.
kind of like that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. For
Like
sure.
like you're saying they expect not too much of Shea, but it's like if Shea doesn't have the 32 points, 2 steals, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, it's like, oh shit, he only had 20 points tonight, like,
Right.
and that's still a lot, bro. Like
Yeah.
I think I think he might be somebody who might even be averaging like, or he will be soon, 25 for his career. So like it's just a lot to expect from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But he does it, every night. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about him later. I think Isaiah Joe, um, Isaiah Joe, obviously Lou Dort, but like Caruso's been on fire, so I think that's been cool. I know you talked about that last pod, but he's been hitting threes pretty consistently now. So
Mm-hmm.
I think iHeart too, obviously.
Yeah.
I think he's been kind of their rock, the most solid kind of. I know he had that broken hand over 3 months ago now, and
Mm-hmm.
really since then he's been able to be. I think I'd say iHeart's probably. I'd say he's like definitely in the top four Thunder players right now.
Oh yeah. 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 100%. Like you say,
'Cause they got a lot.
he's been holding us
Yeah, he's
down.
been holding his own. Yeah,
Like.
he's been holding it down and rebounding and doing exactly what they need to do. And I think that contract is actually pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks weren't willing to pay that, but that's yeah, that was a misfire on Dolan's part. But yeah, bro, like you're saying, other than that, the restricting defense, the net rating is extremely high. Um, yeah, they perform well in the clutch. I think they're Timberwolves. I was gonna ask you other their the collapse. I think how did you feel about that? Did you think that was like sketch, or were you just like, oh, the Timberwolves kind of got us? Like shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I feel that way. But since we've been performing at a high level all season, I kind of don't expect that to happen. But like you said, I think it's just they got us that game. You know what I mean? And I know it went to overtime, and then it just didn't pan out how I would like it to go. But they
And
played a
back and forth.
yeah, yeah. It was a great
Another
game.
great game,
Yeah, I would
bro.
say that
Yeah, I
was.
was gonna say if you were able to watch that shit and you had 3 hours of your time, man,
Yeah,
you're
fantastic game.
rewarded.
And it's one of
Yeah.
those games where I'm like, damn, like this is why the Timberwolves have their moments where we're like, man,
Yeah,
like
they're still
they're still here, like they're still a solid team. Like you said, I don't think this season they're gonna be as successful as they were last
no.
season, but it's they still have their moments where I'm like, man, yeah, this is a good team. They have they have Nas Reed, and then they have
Yeah.
Nikhil Alexander
Nas.
Walker dropping 25 on us, and it's like, okay, yeah,
Bro, not Nas Reed might be like he's not cat, but he's damn near close.
I think didn't we talk
Like
about that? I think we were
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
like Nas Reed is like man, like and he's been somebody I think, he's Big Jelly, like he's been
mhm,
around since the ball's life days. Like we've known who Nas Reed is since high school, but like it's just cool to see he's like really fucking good. And like
yes,
Nikhil Alexander Walker's really good too. So
hmm,
they've had a couple hits on like getting some guys that other teams kind of gave up on, and
hmm,
they're actually solid role players. I think Nikhil Alexander Walker and Nasri will be here for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like you're still gonna see them out there.
yeah,
So
yeah, 100%,
yeah, for sure,
yes, sir.
dangerous. Yeah, no, but next thing, bro. Wanted to hear your thoughts on the Embiid, bro. The Embiid injury, and talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
I'll
bro.
talk about my thoughts too.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit before we started recording. It's I wouldn't say it was expected, but I'm kind of glad he's sitting out. It's just I wouldn't want to see the player to his that of his capability kind of like hobbling and not being able to be the type of player that we know he can be. And at this point for the Sixers, it's what where are they at in the standings? I know they're pretty low. They are
Oh man, I think they're
12th.
like 12th.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of like I guess you could say a lost season. It sucks to say it because going into the season, we had high hopes for them. PG, Embiid, Maxi, all the McCain, all these players, right? And then just
we
injuries.
saw it on Christmas, bro. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We saw it. What I mean? They had their, moments where I'm like, damn, like, okay, they still got Maxi. They still have all these type of players, but I think injuries just really derailed their season. And, the fact that Embiid is out, I think it just kind of says where they're trying to go. Not saying that they're going to get the top pick, but they still have potential to be able to get one of the best players in this draft. And I feel like that's kind of, as an organization, as a franchise, I feel like that's kind of where you got to look towards. Obviously, I don't know all like the behind the scenes stuff with the Embiid injury. Like, I don't know how serious it is. Obviously, it's serious enough for him to be out, but is he gonna still be able to contribute to the team next year? Like we don't know these type of questions, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
it's I kind of like I said, didn't expect it, but I'm not surprised. I guess if that's a good
Yeah.
way to kind of transition into your thoughts.
Yeah, he. I think also too, Embiid's been like he's been uh pretty much playing hurt for the last year and a half, bro. I
Yeah,
think since
his
since
MVP
like
season.
yeah, since in the playoffs in that year. I
Mm-hmm.
think since then, he even played last year in the playoffs with Bell's palsy, and he was giving people like 30.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't even like close his eyes and shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just again kind of like a was I would consider him injury prone, especially at the beginning of his career, but like I'd say he's kind of been more of an Iron Man as of recent, but now it's just catching up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been, he had 70 the other like last season, just like he was just doing his usage rate was at like 34%.
Yeah.
Just yeah, stuff that can't be sustainable. Um the clip like the way that the Clippers were able to get off PG's contract too, I think, his production's really dipped this year, if we're
Mm-hmm.
being honest. I love Paul George the player, but it's tough when he's not giving you 23, 24 points. He's only giving you, 18, 19 a game
Mm-hmm.
on like poor efficiency. It kind of is a recipe for a disaster. I think their only bright spot really was Jared McCain, who got injured unfortunately, and then Tyrese Maxey's been awesome, but even him running him into the ground, like I don't know how smart that is from a future looking perspective, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
whenever we have to take into account Embiid and PG might be gone when Maxi's still there, and it's like you don't want him to have hella mileage because he was playing in a 20 and whatever 60 season,
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes a game like CJ's talking about. So I think they should try to keep their pick, just be smart about it, try to win some games and lose some, but um, I think they have to just give up. Like I don't think they really have a choice. I think they're at a point in the season where it's too late to really make a push. They would pretty much have to win out. So um, it's mathematically just like not realistic. But
Mm-hmm.
I think for their future, it is scary. Obviously, with Embiid, um, by the way, anytime he's been out there though, it's been the 30
Right.
more points than minutes. I think he had this season he ended up with like 146 free throws and 140 field goals, and like he had more free throws than actual buckets made, but that's just how it was for him this year. He kind of just got fouled, he got hacked a lot, and the times that he was out there. I think Christmas, bro, was awesome because I remember that slate. Like all those games were great. But watching him, I think that was like the first time I'd seen him play with like some joy and play at the highest level, and it was still Joel Embiid. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but it's tough when he's not available and you have all these other injuries surrounding that. And then, I think their trade deadline was kind of shit. I think they didn't really do much. I think Kelly Oubre's kind of been a bright spot for them as well. He's been playing pretty well. Other than that, I don't really know if their other players are capable of winning them a playoff series.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree, bro. It's tough to see because like I said, the expectations for them the season prior to all the injuries were a championship, if we're being honest, and it's sucks to see it, but it's how the game is. The injuries don't discriminate. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
hard to see that as a fan of basketball and hoops. We want to see all the great players play at the best of their capabilities, but it's just not how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's not how that the dice rolls. And
Mhm.
um kind of going into the East, the other teams in the East are, obviously we'll talk about the top, but seeing the Cavs and then the Celtics game last night, man. Do you think the Celtics are going to win? Do they have a chance to win the East? Do you think the Cavs have that locked up?
I think they still have a chance. The thing that obviously that blowing that 22-point lead is definitely eye opening, but can the Cavs do it in a 7-game series? Is my questioning.
I think they can, bro. I wanted to get into that with you
Yeah.
because, like, do you think they can't? Like, I think this season, bro. I don't know. I think the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be the Celtics and the Cavs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about their game last night because I watched it
Mm.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think the Cavs have their number.
Mm.
I really do.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Even
I
on the
mean,
road, I think they can get some wins. So
yeah. I think
we'll
it's
see.
when you have the type of team in as a whole with as the Cavs do, it's hard for them, or it's hard to bet against them. You know what I mean? Like they've been playing at such a great level as a unit. It's something that the Celtics they've had their moments where okay, yeah, they're gonna go back to the finals, and they had their moments where I think a little bit before the All-Star break it was like y'all aren't hitting your threes, and that's kind of alarming because that is what y'all are known for, and you're able to score all these points, and you do have a great defensive team, but you have these lapses where it's like okay,
Oh
um,
yeah.
you know what I
Oh
mean? And
yeah.
I think like you said that I think that's going to be the Eastern Conference Finals as well, and that might be a 7-game series. Honestly, I think so, and it can. I think it's just whoever the Kenny Atkinson, Joe Mazzulla, whoever's gonna be
Esau.
the yeah. So it's definitely not as oh yeah, Celtics are gonna make it to the finals as it
Right,
was
right.
last year. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely gonna be a war, and I think that's probably gonna be one of the greatest
Man.
probably player series we'll
It,
have.
and dog, I was telling you since Rivals Week a couple weeks ago, before this is like right before the Luca trade,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
All these games have been on the money, man. I think last night, another great game. Bro, so to start, I'm watching with my girl. Celtics 8 threes, right? They blitzed them. I'm like, okay, well, this shit's over, right? Like
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
man, this is I've never seen, honestly, since like the 2017 Warriors, probably, like, a team be able to just hit the threes at the clip that the Celtics do, and like just how fast, how much of an avalanche they can swing.
Mm-hmm.
They can be down 20 even and just come back like that, or
Mm-hmm.
like even, and then they're just up 20. So it was amazing. So first few minutes of the game goes like that. The Celtics weren't really, trying. They were just literally putting up everything was going in. Jason Tatum, I think, finished at the half with like 30 points, 7 rebounds, like, or 7 assists, like 9 boards or something like that. It was like
Mm-hmm.
he was like locked in, bro. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Celtics fan whatsoever, but I was in appreciation mode. Like, I hate the Celtics. I hate the Celtics. But what Jason Tatum, I was telling my girl, I was like, he's hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he was looking for matchups, drawing Evan Mobley. I'm talking great defenders, right? Like, these are the Cavs. DeAndre Hunter, one on one, bro, drive past them, like, finish. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, damn, like, he is getting busy. Like, I've never seen that from him, honestly, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I had it in my notes. I was like, damn, he was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so to kind of give you guys some background, like 5, 6 minutes into the game, Atkinson calls a timeout. I think Ty Jerome ends up hitting a three. And that's kind of what started the Cavs, belief of getting back into the game. It only cut it to 18, I think, 18 points, right? So you're still down 20 points. But it's just having that belief later in the game, like, okay, we can still come back and,
Mhm.
be okay. I think in the second quarter, it was more the same with Jason Tatum. Celtics hit a few more threes. I think KP was out, so I think they're kind of missing another piece that could have helped them in that regard. But
Mhm.
bro, in the third quarter, that's when the Cavs kind of took over the game, and really what swung it was like Donovan Mitchell drove. He had this one drive. I know you probably saw it. He drove past Derek White and just punched it on him,
Mhm.
and like that's the type of Donovan Mitchell had like 40 or something.
Yep.
Like that's he in the first quarter, quiet as a mouse. Like, and that's something where that's why I love Donnie Mitch, is like because he can be kind of up in the air sometimes, but like when it's time to go, bro, it's all gas, no breaks with him. And
Mhm.
he packed it on Derek White and kind of let everybody know, like, bro, we're finna win this game.
Mhm.
Like, I think he came down, hit another three. He had like 5, 6 triples in the game. Like he was kind of doing everything for them. He was their main kind of push of offense. I think Darius Garland, he didn't shoot too well, but um, he was able to also help with that. I think he had like 23 points. He hit a massive shot in the fourth quarter to
Mhm.
kind of seal it, bro. Like it was a step back, and DG is really smooth. I watched him play when he was a kid, and he plays the same way.
Mhm.
Just like it's more polished, but he plays the same way as he does when he was a kid. And man, the Cavs' resilience, bro. I think that's another thing I had in my notes. Just their ability to, DeAndre Hunter is like shooting 50% for them from deep. Their ability to like hit threes, Ty Jerome, like they have all these players that are just utility pieces that are really playing efficiently, and um, it's full force, bro. Like they don't give up. A lot of teams would have given up at that point. Whenever they were down 20 something points, they play fast, they play with pace, and they know what type of team they are, bro. And I think the Celtics, honestly, I was kind of shocked. Like, I think in the first quarter, they were like, oh, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. And like, I don't like that. That's,
Mhm.
they are the champions and everything like that. But you got to make sure you show respect to an opponent that this season is better than you.
Mhm.
They just are.
Yeah.
Like, not only do they have a better record, but they came back
Mhm.
after that happened.
Yeah.
So like they are better this
Yeah.
season, and that's
Mhm.
okay. But you don't want to be disrespecting, the Cavaliers, who again Donovan Mitchell in the playoff. We'll see what Darius Garland can do, but bro, Donovan Mitchell, man, like
Mhm.
he's gonna make All NBA probably if
Yeah.
he keeps like if he's been having. I think he had a super great week. I don't know who's gonna win Player of the Week. He might win it for the East. He
Mhm.
might.
Mhm.
Like he
Yeah.
he's been cooking like that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They like. I mean, we talked about it prior too. I think they probably have the most complete team, bro. Honestly, like you said, 1 through 10. Honestly, they have
Oh yeah.
anybody that can. Ty Jerome. They have DeAndre Hunter now, and then Dean Wade can get it going. It's like, yeah, they just have. I feel like this team was constructed to beat the Celtics, which they can
Right.
do, and it's
Yeah, like Sam Merrill comes in, hits a random two threes, three
right.
threes. Like,
Yeah.
oh god.
Nah, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But you know, it's that was probably one of the best games I've seen in a while. Honestly, like you said, we've had really good games, but the fact that they were able to come back down 22, I think it was their largest comeback of the season too, against the defending champs. So it's
Yeah, bro,
yeah,
like you're saying, I don't that's not the team to talk to basically. Like the
mm,
Cavs are so solid. I mean, again, bro, so much hope for Cleveland. Like somehow they're just completely out of the dark. This is
mm-hmm,
like so it's great for them
yeah.
because now they can kind of move forward with the same core for another 4 years and see what happens.
Yeah, I was talking to with the boys. I was like, bro, it's dope seeing them be successful without LeBron because ever since we've been watching the league, since when they had LeBron, obviously great, but they lost him and they had those down years, and he came back and then brought them to the top again, and he left, and they've kind of been pretty inconsistent for the most part. I think they haven't been as healthy as they have been this season, the past couple seasons with this core. But the fact that they have been able to stay healthy, add the pieces around the team that kind of just fit together perfectly, it's great to see, bro. I,
Yeah.
I love seeing that because it's they had that stigma of like, oh, y'all can't do anything without LeBron, and now they're the best team in the East right now
Yeah, they're
without LeBron.
scorching from deep too, bro.
Hmm.
Like it's after the All-Star break. It is like 50 something games in, like, and they're scorching
Hmm.
still. But I want to go. I want to talk about, go out west a little bit. Show some love to the Warriors. You see what Steph was doing,
Bro, did I? This man,
man.
Steph, bro.
Yeah, 56, 12 triples. This dude is still him.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Butler's allowed 7-3 over the last 10. By the way, Jimmy Butler's allowed. I hate to say it. I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy. I was, talking about him kind of the way that he leaves the locker room. It's very distasteful. I brought that up a couple, back or something like that. But um, he, opens up their offense completely.
Hmm. Yeah.
Whenever you add him into the mix, another great cutter, somebody, his free throw rate is really what was changed the Warriors' offense. But it allows Steph Curry to be Steph Curry again, and I think you're kind of seeing that. Obviously, the Magic are pretty decent defensively too, but they've been in a tailspin. Really, it's kind of sad to see. They were the darling of this season's earlier kind of campaign, and I think that's kind of quieted down just because they're not solid yet. But they were getting just completely torched. And I think the Warriors, they'll make some noise. I don't know. They are in win now mode. I was talking to my boy Los, and he was bringing it up like, man, maybe the Heat we did need Jimmy Butler. And
Yeah. Yeah, they have not been
I
good
was
since
like,
he
whoa.
left.
You say what? You say what?
I said they have not been good since he left.
I know. And I said, bro, chill. I said, chill. Like, it's not that serious. I think he brought up a good point. Like the Warriors have a lot of media coverage, a lot more than the Heat do,
100%.
and like it's tough because Jimmy is Jimmy, like, and he knows what he can be in the playoffs. But I told him I wanted to bring this point up to you. They have to win.
Yeah.
In the next couple years, if they don't win, bro, they're not gonna have a solid team really moving forward. So I
Hmm.
told him you got to remember, like, the Heat are kind of playing for the future, and they have a clear plan of what to do. But I think the Warriors look great, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about them a couple times on this pod, but I think if, like, we said it, bro. If you're a Warriors fan, you should be kind of cautious. But I think you should get up on your feet right now because I think they're gonna be somebody in a playoff series that is kind of spooky.
Hmm.
They could beat you if you're
Very
not
much.
not careful. And Curry is still playing at a All NBA level. Dude, he is just. I used to not like Steph Curry, bro, but at this point, I'm like, what after kind of the Olympics too. I'm just like, dude, yeah, he's just solid. Like
Yeah.
he might go down as like a top 3 point guard ever, and if he might even finish like one, bro. Especially if he wins another championship. That's what they were saying, like,
Hmm.
because Curry's like crazy. But
Crazy.
I think the reason I bring that up is like he's extended the championship window further. I think that's what great players do. Um, he's given them like a lot of opportunity. I think over the last, like, what does it say, 10 games? I think they're averaging like 120 points
Hmm. Yeah, bro. They
per
completely,
contest.
completely have changed their season
Yeah,
now.
their
For sure.
offense is blazing.
Hmm.
And Buddy Hield's still there, and they're, like, he's not. I don't think he's gonna win six man or anything, but um, again, another person who could just come and hit a bunch of threes. They have that. What is it? What's his name? Like Peyton something. I forget his name.
Gary Payton,
He, yeah, but Quentin Post. That's his
Quentin
name.
Post. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like, yo,
he
who
dropped
is this
18 last game.
dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
bro. I'm like, who is? Yeah, but like, my B.
No,
Sorry,
you're good.
Quint
Yeah.
Post. Like, you cold too. I'm like, what the? Like, who
Yeah.
is this dude? But yeah, clearly, I think that since the Kuminga injury, it's been a lot brighter. And I love Jonathan Kuminga, but I don't know if he'll play for the Warriors going forward in the next few years. And I think that might be their way in an opportunity to build.
Mm.
After Yeah, and I think that's kind of what the plan is. But I love him.
Mm.
Hopefully, he gets an opportunity to do more.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You
100%,
know,
bro. Been
yeah,
Warriors have been super impressive, bro. Ever since
yeah,
Jimmy's gotten there, it's kind of crazy because I think we talked about it. Kind of his fit and what exactly we think he could do, and I think pretty much what we were talking about. He's been able to contribute and to winning basketball, and it's he kind of seemed like he rejuvenated his career because
Yeah.
the past couple months, whatever it was with the Heat, it was like, dang, Jimmy doesn't really
Got
want to play.
paid,
Yeah.
got like yeah. It's I think that's a great word for it. It's like rejuvenation. And it's like he plays with his heart on his sleeve as well. Um, Especially in the playoffs. And I think they have somebody again who's a playoff riser. Not to say Andrew Wiggins wasn't that, because I think in the that Mav series in 2022, he was like rising to the occasion. But
Mm-hmm.
he's not Jimmy Butler, and I
Right.
think you know Draymond was, he was talking very tough on All Star break, talking, oh, we're gonna win the finals. We'll see, bro.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. But
Yeah.
mad respect for Curry. Just wanted to shout them out. Obviously, went around the league a little bit. Talked about the Cavs, Sixers, and the Warriors for a
Mm-hmm.
second. But bro, going into this poll, this updated poll, man, I know we brought it up, 40 minutes ago or so, but what do you think is going on with them having Jokic at the number one spot? Taking that from Shea, and how does that make you feel?
I mean, we were talking about it, bro. It just like I just don't really understand it because I wouldn't say Shea has regressed at all, or he's obviously we lost a game to the Timberwolves, and he's been putting up the same numbers he has been all season. So it's kind of like what made him drop, and it's just confusing to me because I don't, of course Jokic is. I think he obviously he didn't do well against y'all, and I think he had like a triple double like a couple nights after that, but it's like what where how are we doing like the criteria for this MVP race, right? Because it seems like it's just obviously those are the two front runners, right? And they're just kind of, oh, Jokic is doing this and they're winning these games, and I really don't know. I couldn't tell you, bro. It's kind of shocking because I just
Yeah, the
don't.
clarity.
Yeah, and it just confuses me because I don't see a reason why he should have dropped down. I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't. He it's not like he had a stinker of a game. I'd understand that, but he's still been putting up 30 since the All Star break. So it's like, what is what are
the
we
deal.
what are we determining for him to be moving down? I guess, and I don't know. I just don't understand it, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, the Nuggets did too. I think to play like the devil's advocate, it's like they're second in the West, right?
Yeah.
Kind of creeping up on everybody, but we've never bashed them on this podcast. Just
No.
like like this, like they've always been pretty fucking good, bro.
Hmm.
So it's mainly just that, if anything. But again, I agree, man. I don't see a world where Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I was talking to my boy JB about it last night. He said if Shea doesn't win MVP, bro, it'll be it'll be sketch
Hmm.
because Jokic has them. I think
Yeah.
like it's one thing. I think Shea has the potential to be one of the 100 greatest players ever. I think Jokic has already done that. Like, and
Hmm.
I think he'll be there next year. Like, he could get his, fourth MVP next year,
Yeah.
and it'll be just as crazy,
Hmm.
for him to just keep putting up these triple doubles. But I think there needs to be some sort of clear criteria. And then, yeah, the Thunder are still the best team in the NBA, So when Shea's kind of doing everything, I mean, he has a similar. I think he has a better plus minus than Jokic, and just a similar net rating. I think the the efficiency rating, okay, bro, like the PER, whatever, like the triple doubles are gonna speak for themselves. But I think what Shea's been able to do for the Thunder is more impactful than what Jokic is doing for the Nuggets this season.
Hmm.
But of course, bro, no slight to Jokic at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
With this updated ladder, I think it kind of goes to show you the bias that the voters have with him, and
Hmm.
kind of how the NBA wants to push that as much as possible. But I think it's really cool how Giannis and like the top three guys are not from America, so it kind of shows you how the game is growing. And yeah, bro, if he doesn't win MVP, we riot, bro. Like that's fucking like you said, that's crazy.
It's
But
crazy.
yeah, I think Jokic being at the number one spot is dangerous, bro. It goes to show you how dangerous he's been, and
Hmm.
how just like
Quiet.
quietly, I
Yeah.
don't know how to say this, but the 30-point triple doubles, how quietly in the background he's been doing that while Shea is just being Shea. And
Yeah.
I think, the way Jokic plays is honestly very it's very masterful. I think Shea gets some louder buckets than him, but I think Jokic is right up there too.
Oh yeah, 100%, bro. I mean, I feel like we've been talking about it this whole season. I mean, it's really just been those two, if we're being honest, this whole season. And it's always the on off numbers for the team is this and that, and it's like, well, like what are we doing? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
What are you comparing to? You're comparing like apples to basically an apple. Not
right.
even apples to oranges, like the same damn thing.
Right. So it's I don't know, man. Like you said, if Shea doesn't win MVP this season, bro, we riot. Because I mean,
Yeah.
realist, like
So how
what more can you
yeah,
do?
how do you yeah, how do you think it's gonna play out coming down the stretch? You think Shea's gonna win?
I think so. I think he's gonna win, bro.
Me too, me
I think
too.
I think by the end of the season, I think obviously the Nuggets have been playing great as well, and they're the second. But I
Man.
think it's like I think I was telling you the separation from first to second is 9.5 games, bro.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
It's
If
like
he wins, are you gonna shed a little tear, bro? Because I
I
feel like his
yeah
MVP picture is gonna be cold.
yes, bro.
Like the
Like
one the NBA takes,
yes,
it's gonna be
bro.
Shea. It's
It,
Shea Gilgeous.
and he's gonna be dressed up, swaggy.
Yeah,
Yes,
he has a
bro.
suit on. Yeah,
Yes.
that'll
Yeah,
be
bro.
really
I
cool for
I
him.
told you, bro. I was like, man, if he wins, bro, I'll probably shed a tear just because being able to see three different players win an MVP for my team. Granted, we don't have the team success of winning a championship and these things, but I can hold my head
Yeah,
high, and the fact that we're able to build up certain players, and whenever they come there, they kind of rise to stardom. It's dope for me to see as a small market fan that doesn't really have that chip, that
sure.
top of the mountain, that award. It's
Yeah,
like,
that coveted award. Yeah, you
yes,
want it so
so
bad.
bad, bro, so bad. But the fact, that's still, nothing to shrug off as well. Just being able to have the top player in the league, you know, after a certain amount of time, it's yeah, for sure, bro.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah,
I might have to get a shade. I'm surprised I don't have one right now, but I might if when he wins this MVP, I'll get a jersey. I'll get a
for
jersey for sure,
sure.
because
And like he's a hope hero, bro. I think that's what's cool about it is like he like he's from Canada. Like I think a lot of kids, are look up to him. I think if he's able to really finish this off, I think it'll give kids a lot of inspiration. So hopefully he can do it.
hopefully,
So
man.
yeah, shout out Shay for sure.
Yes, sir.
But man, bro, we got like I said last time, we kind of just touched up on the latest MVP kind of poll, but going into this Rookie of the Year race, man, it's been changed a lot since we last talked about it, bro.
Yep.
Um, Obviously with Jerry McCain going down, our favorite kind of got taken out of the picture, but I think it's given some opportunities to some other guys to kind of step into that role. It was a lot different. I think our last list, it was, it had McCain in there,
Mm-hmm.
Yves Misi, a couple
Mm-hmm.
other guys, but it's completely different now, bro. And I was obviously we'll chop it up,
Yeah.
you guys will get our analysis. The audience will be able to see our thoughts kind of on how this is shaping up, but for starters, man, I'll get right into it. I think we can kind of start. We can start from three going up to one. But
Yeah.
there's, hey, bro, the Grizzlies. They got two people on this list, by the way, people.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean? They're serious. And like I said, we've been talking about them. They haven't been talking about it much. They had a crazy game last night again versus the Knicks. A lovely game. We didn't touch on it. But the Brunson, OG Anunoby just threes
Mm-hmm.
at the end. I mean, Ja missed the game winning layup. Tough loss, but they're still great. I think they've been a lot quieter, bro. They're just hooping in the background, so it kind of goes to show you the team they've been building. But starting off with the third spot, bro, we got Zach Edey.
Yeah.
This dude's been solid pretty much all year. He's one of the only people who's been consistently in the Rookie of the Year race. I think at the beginning of the year we were more enamored with what he was doing. I think he's kind of struggled in certain parts of the year, and that's kind of why he's only third on this list. The Grizzlies have been really good though, and
Mm-hmm.
so like when you take his skill for kind of being two-time National Player of the Year in college, it's clear to me why he's on this list and why he's contributing at a high level this early in his career. He's been a defensive anchor, but he's also been averaging like I think it's like I'm not sure it's like 11, 12 points or something like that. A couple rebounds and stuff like that. So he's
Mm-hmm.
been a pretty solid offensive piece for them, and I think as he continues to grow, him and Ja will be able to coalesce and be, one unit and really run the pick and roll together in the future. I think he also needs to develop a 3-point shot, but it's clear to me kind of the pathway for to success for Zach. Makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not. I don't watch the Memphis Grizzlies like at length or anything, but anytime I watch him, he does seem kind of lost on defense at times. But he's big enough to kind of recover, right? And I think the Grizzlies have a good enough defense to kind of hide him. But what are your thoughts on his play this season and how he's been doing?
Yeah, no, bro. I mean, I think my thing going into like him being drafted, I was one of those people that were kind of, oh, I wondered if his game was going to translate. You know, we don't really see a lot of people as his size. You know, he's a bigger guy. He doesn't really have a 3-point shot. I didn't know if it was going to translate, but of course, I should have never doubted that. You know, it's especially with the team he's on. I feel like that is a lot of deciding factors of how great a player becomes in the league is the situation that they get brought into and just kind of the way that team is built. I think he was a good addition. You know what I mean? He's able to kind of just like you said, be able to get was it 10 points, 8 rebounds and then, getting a block a game. It's kind of like, I that is pretty much what he was doing at Purdue, just to a lower level in the NBA, just because you have to translate it, a couple years, get acclimated to the game and the speed of the
Right.
game, really. And I've been impressed with him, bro. You know what I mean? Like shout out, like you said, shout out to Memphis because they just somehow always just are able to develop a lot of talent and not without having a lot to like go from it, like they're able to
Yeah,
draft
yeah,
these
yeah. Like
players and just
they always
develop them.
draft well.
And
Yeah.
like, that he was a ninth pick, so you don't expect it, but is a higher pick in the draft, and the fact that he's been able to translate it to the league, it's been great, honestly. And I think the thing with him is, like you said, on defense, he has his moments where he kind of does look a little lost. But I mean, the fact
Yeah.
that he plays with the Grizzlies, they're able to kind of hide him in a sense. And even if he's what 7'2", whatever 7'3", whatever it is,
Yeah.
so he's able to be a not even a blocker because he's not getting a lot, just a kind of like what Gobert is, you know what I mean? Just a vertical threat, of not that's like jumping and shit, but like he's just tall,
Yeah.
bro. He's able to defend the rim to like a great level, and I think that's the thing with him is just
Well, he could just put his hands up,
hands
bro.
up.
He a
Yeah,
vertical threat.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of
That's
what I
what you
meant.
mean.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
I know when people probably think that they're probably like, oh, he's probably like
Yeah.
jumping
I
and
got you. I
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah.
you.
But no, yeah, bro, been super impressed. He kind of my analysis, and I'm not saying I'm like a college basketball guy. I'm watching all these young players, but that was kind of my worries going into the season if it would be able to translate. And he definitely has had his moments. I think it's just his. I wouldn't even say he's been injured like a crazy amount of games, right? It's just kind of he's been
No.
inconsistent with his play, right? I think that's been the thing.
Right. Yeah. And also he's sometimes in and out of the lineup, but
Right,
not a ton.
right.
Um, Kind of like going into our next player though, like I think Jalen Wells, bro, who's second on the list, he's been better than him, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
For
at the
sure.
guard spot, at the wing spot. He's averaging like 12 points post All-Star break as well. I think, on like decent efficiency. It's nothing too crazy. Shoots 80% from the line. And again, is just another piece kind of to what CJ was talking about, just the Grizzlies developmental plan. I think Gigi Jackson's another person like that as well. They have a couple younger players that they're looking to invest in their future, and he's another piece that's been really consistent for them. And I think honestly, bro, I was gonna ask you, do you think they're more surprised with Jalen Wells than they are with Zach Edey?
Yeah, they gotta be
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I was about to
yeah,
say. I mean, obviously a lower pick, but that doesn't say everything. But he was D2, right? He went
yeah. Oh,
D2.
no, 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 no. I think he went to Washington State.
Oh,
He did. He
okay.
went to
I think
Washington.
he started out D2 and then he went
D2,
to
yeah,
Washington.
yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean they gotta be impressed with his play, and it kind of goes to show how great of a front office they have in their scouts, and the fact that they were able to see a talent. He dropped that low, and he's second in the Rookie of the Year ladder. It's crazy because he is. I think he's been one of those ones that were kind of like top 5. I think maybe he dropped down to 6, but he's kind of been up there. He's been pretty consistent, like you said, for the most part this whole season, and it's great to see. Like the fact that they are able to get these play, like you said, GG Jackson. Like they've had these players
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the past couple seasons that have been stepping up to the to the plate and doing
Yeah,
their
bro,
thing, bro.
hitting
It's
home
crazy.
runs
Yep.
in the draft. But yeah, he's super athletic, bro, can guard. Is not afraid of the moment. I think kind of again just fits really well into what the Memphis Grizzlies system is of being kind of the rough rider. Being able. I think, dude, right now I think he's shooting like 50% from three, like
Hmm.
5 attempts a game. So, he's solid for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, he is. I want us to ask you, obviously. You guys can probably guess who's number one. Is Stephon Castle. Obviously, with Victor Wembanyama going down, he's about to get a ton more opportunities with De'Aaron Fox and probably end up winning this whole thing.
Hmm.
But I wanted to hear your thoughts on kind of how his season's played out, and um, obviously he's also another person who's been in this list pretty consistently throughout the year. Was in the dunk contest, trying to give Jared McCain a run for his money a little bit earlier. But how do you feel that Stephon Castle has performed this year and, kind of being in Area 51?
Yeah, no, it's been great to see, bro, because obviously McCain at the beginning of the season was killing it, but he was there too. He was always, like you said, like third or fourth or second at moments, and it's dope to be able to see him translate to the NBA, because he was a great guard at UConn and obviously they won that chip, right? Yeah, they won back to
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, being able to see him contribute to, I wouldn't say winning basketball, but great basketball on the court. When Wemby was there, Area 51, like you said, and kind of the bright spots that we saw with him and Wemby on the court, and the fact that Wemby is going to be sitting out for the rest of the season, he's having these opportunities. I think that is why he is number one, honestly, because he's had just more run and the chances to be able to do what we were expecting him to do coming into the league,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
it's great to see. And like you said, so whenever they have like CP, do they have him playing at like a three or like their rotations and stuff, or is he just coming
Um,
or
nah, he usually plays the two, like
two?
CP. Yeah, so like when I watched that game, bro, how they did it was they brought in CP and it was De'Aaron Fox,
Hmm.
right? Kind of tiny, but
Hmm.
then CP goes to the bench
And
and
then
it's Castle
Castle,
and Fox.
gotcha,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's averaging, just so you guys get a picture, he's averaging like 13 points a game, 4 assists, 3 boards, shooting 40%, nothing too crazy. But I think to CJ's point, he's been kind of the only, played all year,
Hmm.
hasn't really sat a ton of games. So he's been in every game, and he's getting a ton of run and I think he's getting a ton of experience. And then he's just solid, bro. He's just athletic. He's had a couple good, scored 20 points, 25 points. Like he's had a few blow up games that have kind of put his name on the map. But I think the Spurs needed somebody like him, another guard that they could put around Wemby, and then obviously De'Aaron Fox with the move at the trade deadline. I think it gives them a lot of hope moving forward. I
Hmm.
think Steph Castle's been probably their best young player this season. I think outside of obviously Wemby before he went down. But with the injury to Wemby, now saying that I saw a lot more aggressiveness from him when I went to that game against the Pistons. Obviously the Pistons did win, so they were kind of it was in the middle of their winning streak, so like you were saying, it's not really contributing to winning basketball per se. So I do have some dark horse candidates that I think might make some noise, but I think Stephen Castle will probably end up winning the award. But I wanted to show love. For starters, bro, did you see Kalel Ware's fourth actually?
Yeah, yeah, I did see that.
You have it pulled up.
Hmm.
What do you think about that, man? I talked to Los about it a lot, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
Him being a big man, I think it's another. The Heat are kind of like the Grizzlies in the sense that they're able to develop young players and through the draft and really be able to build around them. And I think he's always been good. I think we talked about it kind of earlier in the year. If they could figure out a way to play him more minutes, I think that's kind of was the only thing holding him back. But again, he's super skilled, can shoot, defend, rebounds well, and obviously can score. Is very athletic. So I can see him making the cracking top three for sure. I
Yeah.
think he could like knock off Edie or something like that. But what are your thoughts on his play this year?
Yeah, no, I mean, shit, we were talking about it when didn't he have like a stretch where he had like 3 straight games with like 20 or something like that. So he's had moments this
Yeah.
season where it's like, yeah, he's looking like one of the best rookies this year. I think it's just kind of been inconsistent, and obviously the team has kind of been in a weird spot since the Jimmy trade. But I think he has the potential to be able to, like you said, crack that top three for sure. I think Edie, if he doesn't play at the level that he has been this whole season, if he drops off a little bit, then Khalil Ware would definitely take that spot for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And
Mm,
I think if the Heat start winning games later, they make the plan. Like I think he could even crack the top two, but I still think it'll be Steph Castle. But
mm,
the other person in this list is Yves Missi. We've talked about him kind of. We've touched on his play. The Pelicans, I just think are a dumpster fire, but he's really good.
mm.
Super athletic, super versatile. I think his defense is kind of what makes him stand out. But kind of what are your thoughts on the Pelicans, I guess, and do you think he has a chance of cracking the top three?
Um, so for starters, Pelicans, like you said, I don't. It's a dumpster fire over there, bro. I just feel like they're like a cursed franchise, bro. I think Zion got his first triple double the other day, so shout out to that. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yep.
not really much, for them in the future. I guess obviously they got rid of Bi, and that was a huge factor. They have like these players that are good, like CJ McCollum, that I think they could maybe get something back for him in return. But it just doesn't really seem like they're in a situation where they're gonna be winning a lot of games anytime soon, and it's
Right,
kind
and that hurts his
it
case.
hurts his
And but
case. Yeah,
yeah, but he's been awesome. I
yeah.
think him, Herb Jones, or not Herb Jones, Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy. Yep.
Obviously the Dejounte Murray injury is gonna give players like that a lot more opportunity to be able to get some run. I think Yves Missi, again, the Pelicans probably weren't expecting the contributions they've been getting from him, so I think they're really happy with his play this year. And he's on a nice deal, so
Mm.
you never know. We'll see in the future. But I did want to mention some of the dark horse candidates that we have, but
Yeah.
that's it for me, my man. Did you have anything else that you wanted to chop it up about?
Uh, nah, man. I think we're good. I think that was a good episode.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, for sure, man.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
if you guys obviously enjoyed this episode, leave us a like, comment, subscribe. Like CJ was saying, please drop us some questions, man, because we'll interact with them. One of the things that we're doing is kind of just recapping MVP, Rookie of the Year. Next time will be DPOY, so it'll be a nice Monday the next time that we chat. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we appreciate you guys and peace, man.
Peace,
It's three
man.
man
Three man,
weave.
three
We
man,
out
three
here.
man. Yes, sir.
Three man.